I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to stop believing in negative stories and choose the identity that you prefer instead. Because the truth is that negative stories are always going to be popping up in your mind to some degree, especially on the way to your goal and what it is that you want to create. Negative emotions and negative thoughts and feelings are going to pop up in your experience. And the question is, how are you going to handle those? And are you going to be able to kind of reprogram yourself to not believe in those and carry on with the vision that you prefer instead? And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this is to remember that you can notice when these negative stories arise, when you're choosing an identity for yourself. Like, have you ever noticed that when you choose to be something different in the world, something that you prefer to be, maybe something that you want, you've made a choice to be something in your life. And then as soon as you choose this new version of yourself that you prefer to be, automatically notice how all these negative stories just start popping up in your experience and these excuses and these tendencies, and you start to act a little bit different. Have you ever noticed that this is the perfect opportunity for these stories to pop up, is when you choose something different in your life, to be some type of different way or a new identity, or to be something different? It's pretty interesting how these things pop up as soon as you start to be this type of person in your life. As soon as you start to be this new version of yourself in your life, then all these stories and all these negative tendencies start to pop up. I think that's pretty ironic, but it's not so ironic really, because that's exactly how the mind works. And that's just what I've noticed for me, is how my mind works, at least, is that when I'm trying to be something different, that's when all this stuff starts to come up to the surface. So for me, it's important to notice this, when I'm choosing a new version of myself, that's when it comes up. That's when all these stories and the patterns and then the negative emotions, they try to almost convince you, or convince me, or whoever, right, that you can't be that person that you want to be. Whatever it is, whatever goal you're making in your life, I would invite and encourage you just to notice how that pops up as soon as you decide on that goal. Notice how all that resistance and then all the limiting beliefs, and then maybe you start seeing people talk about things, and maybe you take what they're saying as a reason why you shouldn't do what you want to do. So when you're going towards your goal and then something rises up to the surface, that's the perfect opportunity to not believe in it. You don't need to believe in a negative story when it's popping up. And in fact, when it pops up, that's the perfect chance for you to completely ignore it and to just continue on with what it is that you want to do anyway. That's the perfect chance for you to see that and to say, I'm going to look at that emotion, I'm going to look at that limiting belief, and I'm going to take that as an opportunity to just carry on with what it is that I prefer to do anyway. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is to remember that you can absolutely make a choice to be someone new every single morning. See, every single morning, every single moment really, but every single morning, but again, and you can do this in the nighttime as well. In the middle of the day, it doesn't really matter. Any present moment in time, you can do this, but you can make a choice to be someone new. And it's interesting because when you make this choice, when you decide to be this version of yourself that you really want to be, the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is that you're going to begin to see and notice all the opportunities that are aligned with these choices. Like, all of these things are just going to start to pop up. And that's how I believe the world works to a large degree. Because you're going to move through your life, right? And what are you going to notice in your day? What opportunities are you going to notice? What are you going to see? Well, you're going to see whatever it is you decided to see in the morning or the night before, or however you programmed your mind to see it. And this is not about, this is a very practical and real thing. Because if you look up something even online called the reticular activating system, which is the RAS, basically means that your mind has a selective focus. Your mind sees whatever it wants to see. You selectively see whatever you decide. So how many yellow cars have you noticed this morning? Probably none. But if you decide to see yellow cars as you go throughout your day, you're going to notice many more in the day. Even though you never paid attention to them before, if you decide to see them and you set an intention in your mind to notice as many yellow cars as you can see, you're going to begin to notice them as you go throughout your day. Similarly, if you decide on an opportunity, if you decide on a goal to be something new in your life, you're going to see those opportunities as you go throughout your day in your life. You're just going to notice those everywhere that you go. Ironically, not ironically, you're going to notice those, where maybe you never noticed those before. Now you're going to see them. And if you think about this, what is even luck? Luck is really just how prepared are you for the opportunity that's going to pop up in your experience. How prepared are you? Because when the opportunity comes up, are you prepared to see it as an opportunity? Are you even going to notice the opportunity? Are you going to even see it? Because how many times perhaps have you walked through your day and there was an opportunity for you to be something different or to step more into your desire, into your goal, whatever it is that you wanted to create, but you didn't even notice that opportunity because your mind was so limited on maybe some limitation or some negative emotion or some frustration that you were attached to, something that happened today, maybe something that even happened 5 years ago. Imagine something that happened 5 years ago and the person cannot see the opportunity in the present moment because of something that they experienced 5 years ago. Now, if it happened 5 minutes ago, maybe you could have a little bit more sympathy and leeway for that person, so to speak, to be like, okay, well, it happened 5 minutes ago, maybe they need a little bit more time to cool off. Okay, but can you imagine if maybe something happened 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and then there is a person and they can't see the opportunities in their life because of something that happened a long time ago, and that's quite an unfortunate situation. And I would invite people to start to see that come up and to say, where can I not allow these past situations to change who I prefer to be in this present moment right now. Decide who you want to be today and see that you can notice those opportunities. And that's going to help you, I think, to stop believing in the negative stories, because when you choose to be who you want to be, I think that automatically negative stories begin to just fall away in a very powerful way. A lot of times we do, don't get me wrong, we do need to look at negativity. We do need to see negative stories and look at those and investigate those, fully experience them, allow them, don't resist anything. I would never encourage any human being to resist any emotion. But when you fully experience that emotion, it's time to let go at some point, and then you can choose to be something different and then let that emotion go and then be who you prefer to be anyway. And then from there, that negative story doesn't need to be replayed over and over and over, and you can choose to be something else. And I think that that's really powerful, because then we can start to see that those negative stories don't need to have a grip on us. We can choose to be who we want to be, and those negative stories don't need to convince us anymore that we have to be them. We have to fall into them or to believe in them or to be that type of story that it's telling you to be. You can choose something else instead. And when you see a negative experience come up to the surface, or a negative thought pattern or an emotion, negative past experience or something, you're going to be able to reframe that situation completely and see that, what does that mean? That just means that that's just a limiting belief coming up that's out of alignment with my new identity that I've already chosen for myself, and I can just simply see that and honor that, and then choose to focus on who I prefer to be instead, and then take those actions anyway. Take the actions anyway, no matter even if the fear comes up. So can you see a limiting belief and then simply take action anyway towards the goal that you're trying to create, and just do it, and just simply do it, right? It's like limiting belief comes up. Well, what does that mean? Just take action towards your goal anyways, and just go from there. Because that limiting belief means whatever it is you want it to mean. If you think that it means that you shouldn't take action towards your goal and that you can't do it, well, then that's what it means for you. But if you think that it means that you can take action anyway towards your goal, then that's what it's going to mean for you. So that's why I think it's crucial to start your day every single night as well, every single moment really, excuse me, as you go towards your day. Define your world, define your identity, define who you prefer to be, define the way that you see the world, and then see those opportunities that are aligned with those intentions and those decisions, and move through the world from that space where now you can be that person, and not necessarily ignore the things that are out of alignment with that decision that you prefer to be, but see them and respect them and honor them and see them fully. But then remember that if they're not aligned with your vision, you can in a sense ignore them because they're not honoring you and what you want to be. You can honor them by seeing that they exist, but ignore them in the sense that take action anyway towards your goal. Don't let it stop you from being that person that you want to be and those actions that you're going to take on a daily basis. Because if you're going to allow limiting belief to stop you from taking action towards the goal that you want to be, then you're not allowing yourself to live into the vision that you really want to see in your life. You're allowing a negative experience to define your identity, and that's not really fair to you, because the past doesn't need to define your present moment identity and who you want to be right now. It doesn't really need to. Who you prefer to be right now is ultimately a choice that you can make in this present moment, and you don't need to believe in the past telling you that you can't be whatever you want to be right now. That's all just a past belief and a limiting belief coming up. And I would invite and encourage you to see it in that way, so that when these things do come up to the surface, you can see them in that light and then take action anyway towards what it is that you want. And with